Before you grab another steak from the store, you need to know what's actually inside it, where it really comes from, and the tricks the meat industry hopes you never find out. Don't buy another steak until you watch this. Steak is one of the most beloved foods on the planet. Juicy, smoky, sizzling on a grill, it's the culinary symbol of luxury, comfort, and everything good in life. But here's the twist: what you see on your plate isn't always what you think you're buying. Behind that shiny package in the supermarket is a world filled with hidden labels, surprising truths, industry shortcuts, and more marketing magic than a Black Friday fashion ad. Before you toss another New York strip into your shopping cart, you need to understand what's actually happening behind the scenes. Because the steak industry? Oh, it's not simple. In fact, it's one of the most complicated, and sometimes sneakiest, parts of your grocery store. Let's break down the secrets the meat industry doesn't want you to know, and how to finally pick a steak that's actually worth your money. 1. Most fresh steak isn't actually fresh. You know those bright red steaks sitting under perfect lighting at the store? The ones that look so vibrant they could star in a shampoo commercial? Well, here's the plot twist: that color is often artificially maintained. Supermarkets use something called modified atmosphere packaging, a fancy term for we pump gas into the package so the meat looks fresher longer. Carbon monoxide, nitrogen, and other gases help keep that perfect red color, even when the meat is aging past its prime. A steak can look like it was cut yesterday, but it may be 12 to 20 days old. To the industry, that's normal. To your kitchen, maybe not so appetizing. What to do instead? Look for vacuum-sealed beef, not the bright red, bloomed cuts. Vacuum-sealed beef turns purplish, which is actually normal for real meat. 2. Product of USA doesn't mean what you think. Imagine this: beef raised and slaughtered in Brazil or Australia can be shipped to the US, cut in a factory here, and suddenly, poof, it becomes product of USA. It's not a joke, it's a loophole. As long as some form of processing happens on US soil, companies can slap the label on. The steak could have taken a 7,000-mile vacation before landing on your grill. Consumers think USA means local, fresh, domestic ranchers, American farms, and quality. But the truth is, your steak may have had more passport stamps than you. What to buy instead? Look specifically for 3. Prime, choice, and select don't mean what you imagine. USDA grading sounds fancy, but here's the truth: it's all about fat. Prime? Lots of marbling. Choice? Some marbling. Select? Barely any. But here's where it gets interesting: marbling only shows quality of fat, not quality of the cow's life or diet. A prime steak can come from a poorly raised animal stuffed with grain, antibiotics, and confined in crowded feedlots. Meanwhile, a responsibly raised grass-fed cow may score lower on USDA marbling, simply because grass-fed beef is leaner by nature. The best steak for health, taste, and ethics isn't always prime. Cleaner genetics plus controlled raising practices. 4. Grass-fed doesn't always mean grass-finished. Here's one of the industry's favorite tricks. A cow can eat grass for one day and legally be called grass-fed. Pasture-raised for 24 hours? Boom. Grass-fed. Most grass-fed beef is actually grain-finished, meaning the cow spends its final months eating corn and soy in feedlots to fatten up. That's where flavor changes, nutrient profiles shift, and inflammatory fats increase. If you want true grass-fed benefits, omega-3s, better nutrient density, cleaner flavor, you need the magic words: grass-fed and grass-finished. If a label doesn't say grass-finished, it probably isn't. 5. The steak you see isn't the cut you think it is. Filet mignon? Ribeye? Strip steak? You'd think those names guarantee the cut, but the industry sometimes substitutes similar cuts and reshapes them to look identical. Some stores even use meat glue, transglutaminase, to bind scraps into a perfect-looking steak. It's literally glued meat acting like a premium cut. It's legal. It's common, and most people will never know. If your $4 filet mignon looks too good to be true, it probably is. Buy steaks. 6. Antibiotic use is a bigger problem than you think. Around 70 to 80% of antibiotics in the US are used on livestock, not humans. Cattle in crowded feedlots are routinely given antibiotics to prevent disease in tight spaces, speed up weight gain, compensate for unhealthy diets. The problem? Antibiotic-resistant bacteria can survive cooking temperatures and transfer to you. Yes, even your medium-well ribeye isn't guaranteed protection. Look for labels such as 7. Steakhouse steak isn't the same as grocery store steak. There's a huge difference between the steak you grill at home and the one served in a high-end steakhouse, and it's not just the chef. Top restaurants use Meanwhile, grocery stores sell wet-aged beef, sitting in vacuum bags for 2 to 3 weeks, which tastes metallic and watery by comparison. If you want steakhouse flavor at home, look for dry-aged ribeye, thick-cut USDA prime, beef with real marbling, not artificial brightness. 8. Steaks are often pumped with salt water. Did you know many juicy steaks are injected with up to 15% saltwater solution? It's called plumping. Manufacturers add salt, phosphates, flavorings, preservatives. The steak stays juicy, but only because it's basically a beef sponge holding flavored water. You pay for 1 pound of steak, but 3 to 4 ounces might be saltwater. Always avoid packages that say crossmark enhanced, crossmark moisture added, crossmark tenderized solution. 9. Your steak may contain pink slime without warning. Lean finely textured beef, better known as pink slime, is now fully legal again in ground beef, and often used in low-quality steaks and steak strips. It's made from fatty trimmings, connective tissue, ammonia gas treatment. You won't see pink slime on the label. You'll see, if your steak is strangely soft, watery, or uniform, you may not be eating pure muscle meat. 10. The best steak isn't always the most expensive. People automatically think ribeye equals best, but depending on the cow, diet, and aging method, cheaper cuts can beat fancy ones. For example, a well-raised flat iron can outperform a poorly raised prime ribeye. A dry-aged sirloin can taste richer than a wet-aged fillet. Grass-fed skirt steak can beat a supermarket strip steak any day. The industry wants you to believe you're paying for quality when you're actually paying for marketing. The real question is, how was the cow raised and how was the meat handled? That matters more than the cut. What steaks are actually safe and high quality? Here's what to buy with confidence. 1. Grass-fed and grass-finished beef. Pure pasture diet, clean fat profile, rich flavor. 2. Wagyu or American Wagyu. High marbling with strict breeding standards. 3. Dry-aged beef. Real aged flavor, nutty, buttery, intense. 4. Local farm beef. Often the cleanest and freshest. 5. Organic beef. Free of antibiotics, hormones, and chemical additives. 6. Beef with these labels. These tell you far more than Prime ever will. How to pick the right steak, every time. White, web-like fat lines mean flavor. Good steak holds its juices, it doesn't swim in them. Fresh beef smells slightly sweet, never sour. Go for 1.25 to 1.5 inches minimum. Real muscle varies. Fake-looking perfection equals processed. Before you buy your next steak, check the labels, check the color, and check the source. Don't fall for marketing tricks. Choose beef raised right and handled honestly. Your wallet will thank you, your body will thank you, and your dinner will finally taste the way steak is supposed to taste.